Multiplying polynomials is something we've actually done quite a bit. We just never called it multiplying polynomials. But to get there, we first have to start with some basics. How do we multiply just basic monomials? When multiplying a monomial together, one term times one term, we are going to multiply the numbers and add the exponents on like variables. The reason for this is if we had something like a to the third times a squared, what that really means is we've got a cubed, or 3a's, and a squared, or 2 more a's, which is a total of 5a's, a to the 5th power. So when we're multiplying variables, we add the exponents on the variables. So for example, if we've got 3x squared y to the 4th times negative 2x cubed y z to the 4th, we can solve this by multiplying the numbers. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. And adding the exponents on similar variables. For the x's, squared and cubed, 2 plus 3 is 5. For the y's, 4th and 1st power, if nothing's written, there's a 1. 4 plus 1 is 5. And there's only z to the 4th. And so we have our answer of negative 6, x to the 5th, y to the 5th, z to the 4th. Now, multiplying monomials is pretty simple, so let's go to something more interesting. What if we multiply a monomial by a polynomial? Well, we've done this quite a bit. We call this distributing. When multiplying a monomial by a polynomial, we will distribute the monomial onto each term. So for example, if we have 2x squared y times the polynomial 4x cubed y squared times minus 5x to the 4th y plus 3x minus y plus 2, we're going to distribute onto each term. So first, 2 times 4 is 8. X squared and x cubed, that's a total of 5x's. Y. We've got a y to the 1st plus y squared is y to the 3rd. Then we distribute onto the next term. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. X to the 2 plus 4 is 6th power. Y to the 1 plus 1, 2nd power. Plus, we'll distribute onto the 3x. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 plus 1 gives us a total of 3x's, and we still have the y. Minus, distributing onto the y, 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. We still have the x squared, but now we have an additional y, so it's now y squared. And then finally, we'll distribute onto the 2. 2 times 2 is 4, and we still have the x squared y. So it's kind of an extreme example to illustrate how we just distribute the monomial through onto each term in the polynomial. All right, but now today we multiply polynomials times polynomials. This is the meat, the really important stuff. When multiplying polynomials, we are going to distribute each term on the first factor onto each term on the second factor. So for example, we have 2x plus 3 times 5x minus 4. We'll take this first term of 2x, and we're going to distribute it through onto the other factor. So 2x times 5x is 10x squared, 1 plus 1. And 2x times negative 4 is negative 8x. Then we take the 3, the next term, and distribute it onto each term of the second factor. 3 times 5x is plus 15x, and 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. We'll clean this up a bit by combining like terms in the middle, and we have 10x squared plus 7x minus 12 for our final product. So when multiplying polynomials, we take each term of the first factor and distribute onto each term of the second factor. That same pattern is going to continue regardless of how many terms we're working with. In this case, we have a trinomial times a binomial. We'll start with the first term and distribute it onto the second factor. 2x squared times 3x is 6x cubed, 2 plus 1. 2x squared times a negative 4 is negative 8x squared. And we'll go to the second factor. Remember that negative 6 comes with it. And it's going to distribute onto both. So negative 6x times 3x is negative 18x squared. And negative 6x times negative 4 is positive 24x. And we keep going with the negative 5. Distribute it onto both parts. Negative 5 times 3x is negative 15x. And negative 5 times negative 4 is a positive 20. And then we finish by combining our like terms. So we have 6x cubed minus 26x squared plus 9x, 24 minus 15, plus 20. And we have our product. So multiplying polynomials is just a lot of distributing. Each term distributes onto each term of the next factor. Now that you've seen how we multiply polynomials, it's your turn to give it some practice. Give it a go and let your instructor know if you have any questions.